Hey guys, welcome to the video. This is part of the project where I'm trying to get a heated steering wheel in my 2013 Mustang by utilizing a 2018 plus steering wheel in order to get the heating element into the car. Now, one of the things I've decided to use, if you've been following so far, is the toggle switches for the automatic transmission. I'm trying to use those to control whether or not the heat is turned on. So if you look here, here are my toggle switches or paddle switches rather. But remember, paddle switches are just a click. They don't actually stay clicked in or stay on. It's a momentary switch. Well, that doesn't work for the heat because for the heat, you want to be able to turn it on and keep it on. So this little device here is a relay, and it allows you to turn a momentary switch into a toggle switch. And that's pretty much what I want to do. So what you see here, and I'll describe it, is we have a 12 volt AC-DC adapter. So it's 12 volt, 10 amps. And it passes through into the breadboard. The breadboard is just to test this out. Then from the breadboard, we have that power going into our device. So this is going to be power that always needs to be supplied to the device in order for it to work. This red light indicates that the device is currently powered, right? So if I take one of these out, you'll see the light turns off. If I put it back in, the light turns on. Then you need to have your device powered up. So what we have here is the device gets power directly from the system. I'm just using this little voltage indicator, LED voltage indicator, to indicate whether it's being powered or not. That goes into the common term, or sorry, into the on, the NO terminal on this device, and then coming out of the common is this green that goes back into the ground. So what should happen is this is essentially a switch, and we'll turn our momentary switch into a toggle switch, which will turn that on and off. So the last thing we have here is this is the switch leads, right? The ground or the feed and the return, which go into my alligator clips. And I have that going into the actual harness I pulled out of the steering wheel. So that's why you see it kind of laying here on the desk. Now, all we have to do once this is wired up correctly is give it a little test, and we should see two things happen. One, there is a green light on this actual relay board, which indicates whether or not it's been triggered. And we should also see voltage appear on this one. So we're going to take this toggle switch plus, and let's just give it a try. Perfect. So you can see the green light indicates it's on, and we have our toggle on here. So if I press that again, and as long as it's on, even though it's not being held down, as long as it's on, it will stay on until I depress it and turn it off. And so see, same switch turns it off. Now, in my application, for myself, I decided to have both of these paddle switches perform the same function. So if I turn that one on, it works. And I can use my other toggle to turn it off. Okay, so here's what I'll do. I'll turn it on with the left. I'll turn it back off with the right. Okay, so this is a good relay. This relay little board, it's not just a relay, right? It actually is a relay with a momentary to toggle switch function built in. I got it on Amazon. They were like 2 for, I don't know, 2 for $10 or 2 for $15, something like that. So, but this is perfect because not only am I going to use it for that, but one of the things I've learned is that the high beams in the S550 are not like the S197. So I have the one handle here, and I have the here over here, but it's still connected to the housing. But here is the S197 multi-indicator switch. And what you'll know is, if you've used this before, when you turn your high beams on, you push it out, and it stays out. And then you have to pull it back in to turn it off. That's a toggle switch. Okay? Unfortunately, the S550 doesn't work that way. The S550 does everything through the steering wheel control module, or sorry, the steering column control module, and it's not a toggle, it's a momentary switch. So look, you push it out, and it flops back in. It comes back in. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using this, not just, I'm going to be using 2 of these, right? Not just for the heated steering being controlled by these toggles, but also using one for the high beams. So when I push this, it's going to do that same momentary toggle and work for the high beams. So this is really exciting. This is big progress on being able to finally finish up this project. I'm really excited about that. What I actually think I'm going to do is, because this is going to be buried inside the steering column, what I think I'm going to do is actually use this whole system and power these LEDs, not through the standard LED, or sorry, not through the standard power that turns on when the car is on, but I think I may actually divert power back into these LEDs so that they're only on when this turns on. And if they're only on when this turns on, that would actually give me the ability to control whether or not or not control, but utilizing the LEDs on these paddle switches, whether or not the heat is on. So, yeah, this is something that's really, really exciting. I think I actually may just give this a try right now. So let's give this a shot. So if I recall correctly, I'm not going to guess. I'm going to bring up my diagram. So in this harness, the ground for the illumination is pin 1. That would be this one. So I'm going to put that into pin 1 here and put it into ground. And then what I'll do is illumination is number 11. This is 9, 10, 11. And I'm going to put this into I just remember, okay, wait, it's, no, not the ground. The ground doesn't go there. We want this. Illumination goes to power. But the ground will pass through here. No, wait a sec. It's not that. It's ground goes directly into... Yes. Yes, power comes directly into there, and then the ground comes through here. So let me do this. So we'll momentarily disconnect this, and we'll just pretend that actually it's the LEDs I want to turn on and off. So let's turn this light off, do our testing, and let's see what happens. Nothing. Okay, we have voltage going into 9, 10, 11. And then we have the ground coming out and going in here. So the switch is still working. So this part is wired up correctly. I put these in the exact opposite spots. So number 1, 9, 10, 11 is here. And number 1, Well, let's just turn that off. Number 1 is on this side. So now if I press these, the LED should light up. Oh, yes. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's lit. So if you look here, you can see when I press this, it lights up. The plus is lit up here. If I press this one now, it turns off. So this, as I mentioned before, this is fantastic news. This is really great. I want to see if I can try to replace that with a red LED. I think that would be really, really cool. It would be a good way to indicate for the driver visually that the LEDs are lit. All right, guys. Well, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. And the next one, we will be doing some testing with the high beam switch to give that a test. But in practice, this should all work. So catch you in the next one.